I'm Michon, Boston. I live here in Washington, D.C. I'm a writer. I'm an event producer and planner. I call myself a food lurist. And I'm a pretty eclectic person overall. I enjoy music. I've studied music. I enjoy theater. I've written plays. I enjoy art. I've created art. I enjoy life, and I'm still here. So this is just, life is all about the journey, and the journey can be quite fun. And that's the kind of work I do, and that's the kind of stuff I write about. The thing is, I love the stories about baking. I really enjoy collecting stories about baking because people baked for me when I was growing up. They baked from scratch. I never had box mixes at home, and we never allowed box mixes in the house. So when we baked, it was for a special occasion or a special event. Or, for example, once I asked my aunt for pumpkin pie. She didn't know how to bake a pumpkin pie, so she bought a pumpkin, did the best she could, made a crust, and made me a pumpkin pie. So what does that tell me? That tells me she loves me. So she gave me the pumpkin seeds to put into the oven and make pumpkin seeds because we loved pumpkin seeds when we were growing up. So these are the stories I like to collect about baking, and I do try some recipes, you know, their favorites, and some people give me their family recipes because the person has passed on, but they don't want to try the baking themselves or they can't cook themselves. So I make it, I collect the story, and I give the food away for other people to enjoy. And then we're creating memories as we're creating food and baking, you know, from scratch. And that's just the general rule of my baking experiments, as I call them. I might adjust the recipe and add something. There was a fruitcake recipe a friend gave me, which she enjoyed that fruitcake recipe. My friend Patty enjoyed this fruitcake with her grandmother at Christmas time. So she had the recipe. It was from a cousin, and I tried the recipe, and it included wine. So I said, well, let's bump it up a little more, and I added cognac to the recipe by soaking the cherries, soaking dried Bing cherries in cognac, and then I put them on top of the fruitcake. And it added another flavor to the fruitcake. So that's about as much experimentation I will do with an existing recipe. And, you know, people just love it. It has traveled to New Orleans now, so I got the thumbs up in New Orleans for my fruitcake. And that's a good thing because New Orleans people, they know food. And I don't know what I'll do next year. You know, I might put another spin on it. I might add apricots, which is what my friend would do. But she always recommended slicing the fruitcake thin and then having a glass of sherry with it, and that's how she enjoyed it with her grandmother. And that's highly recommended because actually the fruitcake is also soaked in bourbon, and it's soaked over several days, and you have to refresh the bourbon every day. So it's quite a potent fruitcake, but it's also delicious, and people look forward to getting it. It's now the hot property at Christmas time.